the assessor or the assessor's office. Jessica, the lady that teaches at Prudence Crandall, that's where I first started teaching. And I remember Reverucci, myself, Underwood, we used to have kids going in and out those windows. So when they redid the school, they must have made them smaller. But as far as the locks on the door, you got to remember you're going to have to be able to lock it from the outside and the inside. So it's not just one way. I'm here. I'm going to ask you to have a little patience with me tonight because, like Joey said once in a while, you're probably not going to like what I have to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. The main purpose for me speaking tonight is because of what transpired at the last town council meeting and not filling the council seat previously held by Joey Bosco. First, two of you stated you could not vote for Jim because Jim wasn't really the issue, nor is he the issue tonight. It's the process that's in question. Because you didn't like an answer he gave when questioned about grooming and pedophiles. And for the love of me, I don't have a clue as to why that or some of the other questions you asked were even asked. Now I'm going to ask you guys some questions. I know we can't have a back and forth conversation, so I'll ask you the questions, or ask my questions, and in your heads you can answer yes, no, or I don't know. Do you believe any teacher or teachers have or had relationships with their students, or even ended up actually marrying one? Do you believe there are any pedophiles at Disneyland or Disney World, even after a number of arrests have been made? Do you believe any national public officials or people of notoriety ever visited Jeffrey Epstein's so-called Pleasure Island and had sex with underage kids? Now, getting to our school system, or for that matter, any system the size of our school system. It was said that if grooming or pedophiles were present in our system, the police or the state police would be doing an investigation. Now let me ask you these questions, and again, answer them to yourselves, yes, no, or I don't know. Do you believe any teachers have had relationships with other teachers? Do you believe any administrator has ever had a relationship with teachers? Do you believe any teacher, administrators, or central office personnel have ever been caught with child porn on their computer? Do you believe there are any teachers who have used illegal drugs above the potency of marijuana? Do you honestly believe people involved in education are perfect? To those people who teach in Enfield, they do the best job they can. They were and are some of the best people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing and teaching with. Some are better than others, but they all try to teach to the best of their abilities. Teachers are no different than ordinary people. We are, in essence, a compilation or a cross-section of society. Another comment that bothered me, to a degree, in the questioning of prospective candidates was, do you believe the last election was legitimate? With the harvesting of ballots, with the use of drop boxes, with ballots being counted after poll watchers were made to leave, with machines being questioned as to how the votes were being tabulated, with results from precincts 100% in favor of one candidate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I can see why some people question the election results in some states. Just look at our last two gubernatorial elections here in Connecticut. Are you telling me 8 years ago everything was above board in Bridgeport? 4 years ago, did everything go all copacetic in New Haven? And then it was said that a basic tenet of our democracy is that you can't believe that elected or public officials would lie, right? From our presidents, I'm using the plural, to members of the House and Senate, to the media, to elected state officials, do you honestly expect the public to believe that many of these people don't lie, or at best, they're masters of twisting the English language? An old friend of mine, Dick Crissati, Uncle Dick to you, that's where I'll come back then. Well, thank you for giving us this time. Still ticked off at the Board of Ed. Okay, so an old friend of mine, Dick Crissati, Uncle Dick to you, a state rep for many years, a Democrat through and through. He used to contribute to my campaign for the 3 times I ran for the Board of Ed and got elected, on pain of death not to reveal his contributions. He once told me, the worst level of government you can be involved in is local politics. If you don't already know, you'll soon know what he meant. Another comment that dealt with the process of how a vacated seat should be filled. I believe it's that the town charter speaks to the issue, but I could be wrong. The idea of having a special election would be costly, would have an extremely low turnout, and would go against precedent. I don't believe that counselor who brought this up really thought the idea through or just didn't realize how the filling of a vacant seat was handled. I've lived in Enfield for 45 years, and only once do I know of where a proposed candidate whose party's seat became vacant and a nomination was put forward, that nominee was not confirmed. And that one time that happened, it was done by the Republicans. It was a major mistake. They opened the door for what you just did at the last meeting. There is a process to be followed. You, the Democrats, followed the process. It's your reasoning that I find in fault. Then there's the reasoning to vote because Councilor Crissati wasn't present. He could have called in for that part of the meeting when the vote was to take place. And the comment, I wasn't aware that there was going to be a vote tonight. I felt blindsided. Don't you guys communicate with each other? One councilman actually said he was voting no because it had taken a political tone. My question to you would be, who made it political? The vote to appoint Jim. Vote to appoint Jim, move to the next item on the agenda, and keep going. That's all you had to do. To the counselor who was really caught in the middle as to how to vote, you could have abstained. And to the assertion that each party always asked for 3 names to be submitted to the majority for consideration to fill a vacancy, going back to that counselor who made that statement about the lie, that you can't believe they would lie, that comment about submitting 3 names was a lie. Finally, I would like to publicly acknowledge the one Democrat who had the courage and conviction to vote in a non-political way to fulfill Joey's wish. Thank you, Mr. Finger. I'd like to thank you guys for your patience tonight. I mean, I know it's hard sitting up there and getting hammered, but you should be commended for giving everybody time to speak. That was very, very good of you. And I think all the problems that we're facing right now are being caused by 2 people. Neither one lives in this town.